Item 11J, an ordinance approving and authorizing the city manager to enter into a project support and management agreement with Ken Conaway LLC with respect to municipal multi-purpose recreation facilities, declaring an emergency at the first reading.
Calling our Assistant City Manager, Scott Flakowski, for his comments.
Thank you. At the last City Council meeting, the project was approved to move forward with the Music Center, and we need to get started right away to start with the final design work and move forward with the project. And that first step is to contract with a project manager, Ken Conaway LLC. The member on there, Ken Conaway, is worked on the Aquatic Center. This contract is set up the same way as the Aquatic Center, and that worked out really well. The project went smoothly there, and I'll be happy to answer any questions about this contract or any of the project.
Thank you. I'll call on Mark Campbell, Chair of the Administration Committee, for his comments.
Yes, thanks, Mayor. This, too, has gone before the Administration Committee, and the committee does recommend tonight passage. So I would move to waive the second, third readings.
Thank you. Is there a second, Lou?
Second.
Discussion? Tyler?
I just want to ask one question regarding the bidding process of all of the contracts underneath this. Is this going to be similar to what we did with Aquatic, where the project manager goes out and finds two or more, or is this where, like the trash contract, where we will do RFPs for each piece and then have public bidding under seal and then openings and all of that? I just couldn't remember which of those two is it.
Well, that's probably going to come to the next council meeting, is a bidding process. We are looking at multiple ways. It'll probably be a combination of what you just suggested, yes.
All of the above?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We have a citizen's comment?
Yes. Mr. McMasters again, 6934 Silmar Court.
Thank you, Dan Council. Yes, of course, I wanted to talk about the support management agreement that we're about to enter. We know that we just got done with a major project in the recreational facility, and that project was introduced as a $6 million project. And most of you are aware that when I talk about the project, I consider it to be a $6 million project that we ended up paying $10 million for. And with that, now that we've decided to start another major project, I ask council to be diligent, not to overspend by 20 or 30% again. And one of there are two items in this particular agreement that I think council should look at. The first is a compensation package for Ken Conaway LLC, and the second is the bid process that's mentioned in the management agreement. Concerning the compensation package of this, as council is aware, Mr. Conaway managed the building of the Aquatic Center as an employee of 201 LLC. In that arrangement, 201 LLC was paid a set amount of money for his time, and at the time of contract award, Mr. Steve Stanley of the Montgomery County TID evaluated that as above the normal rate, but not too out of line. As most employees know, we don't get paid the same amount that our employer charges, because that rate also includes the Social Security tax and the unemployment insurance and advertising, building cost, profit, staff to manage the company, all the things that go along with the amount above our rate with that. So we see in this contract that Mr. Conaway LLC is going to actually get the same above rate that 201 LLC had gotten over there, but he should have a lot less of those costs as far as advertising, the building costs for managing there, having the office manager, and all the things that go along with having a large company. So with that, I would have expected to see that council would have negotiated a contract that was more middle of the line rate for the hours that he got, and that would kind of split the difference so that he could realize some of the gain from making his own company but council should also realize some of that gain as well. The other part of that compensation package is the 9.5% of project cost that Ken Conaway LLC will receive. I actually didn't understand or was not familiar with that, but I assume that that's in there because when you're dealing with a large company, they'll add that cost, and council just took it as a standard type of a cost. There's two aspects of that, whether it's really needed when you're talking with a small company, and then the other problem is that it's a percentage of the contract cost. If you recall, when you contracted with the architecture for the aquatic center, it was 0.8%, and that was the same architect that did the Tip City thing, but when Tip City did it, they did it for a fixed firm price and ended up with a inflation-adjusted cost much less than what we ended up paying. So if there is a need for that project management fee that's in the contract, I would ask for, if I were part of the council, I would ask for a breakout of what that fee is supposed to cover and see if I couldn't get that for a fixed firm price so that there's no incentive to increase the price of the project. The other part that I wanted to address was the bid process. As Tyler indicated, there, the project manager for the aquatic center, it looks like the same process that's in this agreement, where they state they'll bring two contractors to council, and your project manager will end up picking the best one, the lower price of the two. I think that process actually was the reason for the majority of the last project being a lot more expensive than I thought it should be with that. So if you're going to undertake that process, I think council needs to make the commitment to actually doing some research into the underlying costs that go along with the bid so that you have an idea how much a steel tank would cost or how much concrete would cost, that kind of stuff, so that it doesn't come in 5, 10, 20% above the cost that would come if you did a sealed estimate with a whole bunch of different contractors.
Appreciate your input, Tom, but can you wrap this up now?
Yep,
Or is
that was it. Thank
That's
you.
it? Okay, thank you. Scott, you want to make a comment?
Yes, I just want to clear a couple things up.
Go ahead.
One, the project management fee is 0.95%, not 9.5%. When you combine,
That's only 8%, 9% difference, Scott. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Could I interrupt for a minute? So it's less than 1%?
yes,
And could you tell us in relationship to the aquatic center what that rate was?
that is 1/3 of what because that was 2.85, I believe, or something close to that on the aquatic center. So this is a less amount for the project.
Was that negotiated down for this project?
That is correct. This has been negotiated down, and when you combine all portions of the fee, it with a $16.5 million budget, not counting land in that, that's about 2.5% of the whole project. The average cost for project management for this size project is 3 to 5%, so it is lower than the average cost for project management.
Thank you. Go ahead, Ed.
Mayor, thank you. Scott, before you leave, so you would say on that point right there, the city would be getting their good value for contract with Mr. Conway?
That is correct.
Okay, and one other question, Mr. Mayor. To the point of the aquatic center, $6 million contract to build the aquatic center. I came on towards the tail end of it, but was that cost attributed just to the swimming facility itself, and were there other phases that we decided to go ahead above faster than scheduled and implement phase 2 and 3? Would you speak to that point, please?
Yes. The original budget, that $6 million, was for the aquatic center. Also, in addition to that, we did the amphitheater. We did the revising the Y entrance. We did a lot of the trail system around. Those were additions to the whole project that brought up the cost of the total project. And the sewer and water down, revised the Shaw Road lift station, got rid of the Charles Gate lift station. Those were additional items that benefited the whole community.
And would you say, last question, Mr. Mayor, and would you say with the overall project and the cost that the city received a good value for the price that we paid for the total overall project?
I believe so. We even went back and checked. I looked at every receipt that came through. I looked at all the numbers. We compared curb prices there to curb prices in our street program, and they were all right in line.
Okay. And Mayor, just a last comment. In the time that I've...
That's last time.
I
Just
know.
kidding.
Well, it's another
just
one.
kidding.
I know. Thank you.
Take your time.
But in the time that I've been on council and been working with Mr. Conway, I found him to be of outstanding and impeccable reputation in his work ethic, and I couldn't be happier with his service to the community. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Scott. And I'm just going to piggyback on that for just 1 second. I don't know, God must have shown him the way to Huber Heights, but I just am really pleased that we have Ken Conway, the job he did us up there, the extra hours he put in. He put in several months working on this music center for no pay, trying to help out with when Mark started looking at the project and everything else and that. And if it was a higher thing, at least I know what I'm getting and so forth. I'd want to go with Ken Conway regardless in that. So I appreciate that, and I appreciate your comments tonight. We'll take Jan's comment, and then we're going to move on.
Just for final clarification, is it the usual way of charging to do a percentage of the cost of the project?
Yes.
Okay.
That is the standard.
And I heard you say that the average is 3 to 5%,
Yes.
and we're
at about
our charge is
5.
under 1%. Okay, just wanted to.
Total, adding the.
Okay, just wanted to be sure that was clear. Thank you.
Just because I say no one else is going to talk to
Oh, I'm sorry.
No. Go ahead, Mark.
Scott, just to focus in on, because I think the council did take great pride in the negotiation of this. It's less than 1% on this project, and that's about 1/3 of what it was on the aquatic center.
That is correct.
With the $16.5 million budget, how much is that? Is that like $250,000 we've discounted?
Now, we've discounted about $250,000. Yes, that comes out to about $152,000.
Okay. And then with the total savings compared to the aquatic center, it's close to $250,000.
Almost $300,000.
Okay. And in regards to the bids, to Tyler's question, we're going to have maybe a variation of how we do this in an effort to get the lowest and best price, correct?
That is correct.
I mean, we're going to take each item you've promised us, and we're going to look at the process in total. And if a sealed bid process is the way we'll ensure getting the biggest bang for the taxpayer's buck, that's how we'll do it.
Yes,
And that's going to be your focus and your theme throughout this entire process.
that is correct.
And it's Ken's responsibility, and what we're going to rely on is his expertise in the construction industry, and his job will be to manage each of the subs and categories of building the music center.
Yes.
I don't sound like it's all on you. Go ahead, Mark.
Ready.
As chair of the committee, in working with Ken throughout the aquatic center process, I remember that we surveyed, talked, communicated throughout the community, and decided to upgrade the pool facility, the building, and to stay with the theme of brick in Huber Heights. We increased the budget, I know, in that way, and I think we're all pleased that we did such.
Definitely.
The sewer that we talked about, that we eliminated a heck of a backup issue that had existed for years. Maybe the water company could verify that, and our engineer could speak to that. Wasn't that $1 million issue?
Yeah, the Charles Gate lift station was a station that was many sanitary sewer overflows and kind of heavy rains. And EPA had been looking at that for us to try to fix that. So for years we've been trying to take care of it. And with this project, we could run a sanitary sewer through the aquatic center site, and the size is big enough to handle that. with all the height development coming up, we're taking care of all that, and run it down to a new station at Shoal Road. There was a small station there that was also undersized, and we built a larger station and eliminated both of those. And that was part of this project, and it was through that same fund.
Right.
None of which would have occurred had we not done the Aquatic Center project. Is that not the case?
If I can add one more thing, piggyback on that, it's something that Mr. Bergman said, is that this new lift station is sized for the Heights development and the Music Center already, so that doesn't need to happen with this new project.
And I hope the taxpayers, the citizens, the council, the staff continues to work in the vein we have, and that we maximize every dollar so we can have the biggest, best state-of-the-art music center in the region. And I'm confident as the committee chair and the input and the discussions I've been involved in will do just that.
Thank you, Mark. Okay, let's call on the vote. We've got a first and a second to waive.
Mrs. Varga?
Yes.
Mr. Lyons?
Yes.
Mr. Starline?
Yes.
Mrs. Blankenship?
Yes.
Mrs. Dale?
Yes.
Mrs. Dudley?
Yes.
Mr. Campbell?
Yes?
Passes 7-0. Entertain a motion to adopt. Mark?
So moved.
Tracy?
Second.
Call the roll.
Mr. Lyons?
Yes.
Mr. Starline?
Yes.
Mrs. Blankenship?
Yes.
Mrs. Dale?
Yes.
Mrs. Dudley?
Yes.
Mr. Campbell?
Yes?
Mrs. Varga?
Yes.
Thank you, Scott.